The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of 50+1 or its host. The content provided is for informational purposes only. Any views or opinions expressed are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, or individual. All content is provided in good faith and is intended to be thought-provoking and informative.
Welcome to 50+1 channel, a space to have interesting conversations on Indian football. Today we have Mr. M. Satyanarayan, Acting Secretary General of Aiff. Satya, welcome. Thank you so much for doing this.
Welcome, Sandeep. All good with you?
Yeah, all's good with you. I hope the same as well from your end.
So, it's just been raining a bit, so Delhi is a bit cooler now. So
yeah, so we will get on to the interview then. First of all, Satya, again, thank you for doing this in such short notice. The biggest news right now has been the fallout from the whole AI, Igor Stimac's allegations and the saga. So what is the situation in AIF now? What is the next move from the All India Football Federation about all this?
As far as Stimac is concerned, I mean, the lawyers are at it, and we have to wait and see. Whatever we had to say, we have said in that press release of ours. So that's it. And I think Igor has also spoken a lot. So I think now we have to move ahead. Of course, he was here with us for 5 years. Lots of good, lots of, I won't say bad, but I think it's time to move on now. So that's it. Anything specific on that? Yes. So we are just waiting. In our letter, we told him that we'd like to give him 3 months salary as a compensation, which actually what was that, in the 2019 contract. So, and plus, if you go by the record, AFF had never ever broached the subject of his quitting, etc. It was Stimac himself who had said in an open press conference that, he had said that 1 year back that he would take the team to the third round or he'll quit. And he said that he would quit in case we don't make it. So just based on that, we just started a conversation with him, and everything he has, whatever he said, So that's it. I think, we'll also have to move forward. And for us, this timing is very important because now is the time when everyone's looking for coaches. It's the transfer windows, teams are being built. So plus we're also getting the September window is coming fast. So we also need to plan, and we need it's a time consuming process, getting a new coach. So with all that in mind, we just started the process. So let's see.
So Igor Stimac had mentioned that you were the last one to speak to him. But that conversation ended very differently, is what he said. Is that claim correct? Or?
No, what he told, he also told in your show that, yes, I was speaking with Satya and he was offering 3 months as compensation, and he said it's good for us to part mutually. Where he said, no, in that condition, I've got a condition, he said. And he put forth his condition that he wanted, a few people to resign. So at that time, I told him, Igor, you and me, we are contracted employees with the AFF. And, I don't think so. That's an area where we can go into asking elected representatives to quit. So we had that conversation. But I think, we were under the impression that, he is going to leave. And that's what he had told. It's not what we had said. But let us wait and see. We can always work out something.
Yeah,
we've had a long relationship, so I'm sure something could be worked out.
Yeah, let's hope so as well. Now, looking forward, from the reports we hear 219 candidates up for the Indian football national team coach job, which shows that there is a lot of pull, at least from the people wanting to work here. Can you talk us a little bit about where the process is, how long it will take? Are there any front runners? I'm fishing for scoop here.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I can't. It'd be doing injustice to the people who applied. I'm sure some of them would have applied, without their, wherever they've contracted to them knowing, etc., etc. But I'm not surprised that we got a good response because a lot of foreign coaches are working in the ISL, and they take back news of how the situation here is in the country, the facilities, etc., etc. And team has also done, very well. Maybe a year back, if someone had told us that we'll just be 20 minutes from qualifying for the third round, I'm sure we'd all had doubts. But, they did exceptionally well. The team played well. Unfortunate, we couldn't make it. So, I mean, a lot of people, might be looking at it as a chance to maybe take it to the next level, from here. So, we've got a good response. 100 UEFA Pro, about 20 AFC Pro. So, let's see. I mean, so that's another long process. So, just maybe Wednesday night was the last date. And then we introduced the IWL2, which was not there before. Then we had the ID3, which also has come in. So, and then we did the three AFF leagues for the sub-juniors, juniors, and the elite. So, I mean, a lot of events, totally almost about 18 events we did. And out of this, we touched almost about 41 cities in about 25 states. So a lot of the member associations have been involved in organizing, or hosting some of these events. We've seen a huge surge in the number of girls playing. There was a phenomenal success. Before we started out to attempt 90 leagues, and we did 87 of them. And many people do not know this, that out of these 87 leagues, Sandeep, each of these leagues had 6 teams, and they played twice. So that's each of those girl players got 10 games. And the under 13 was being introduced for the first time. So that many girls, 29 leagues into 16, into average of 12 to 15 girls. I think they played football for the first time in an organized way. So that is a tremendous base which we created, and I think the surge in the women's players is almost, it became page 1 news. For a long time, we were never on page 1. It is for the right reason. So that is huge. FIFA has acknowledged that. Recently, we had a FIFA expert who is now helping us to work out a strategy. So we truly believe that the girls' football can, move faster into the World Cup. Last year, the team, we sent them to Turkey for that event. Most of the European teams played there. Not the higher ranked ones, but we did well. We finished runners-up. Then we played 2 matches in Uzbekistan. They're higher ranked than us. We lost the first 3-0. The second one we drew, which is good. Now the team is again getting ready to go to Myanmar for 2 more games. So, there is a focus which is going on as far as the women's team is concerned. Men's team, there's nothing, everything. The pinnacle was there in Bangalore when we were there, all witness to what they did. So they also had a good quota of international matches. This year already we finalized in October. We are playing 2 games. And September we are trying to host a tri-nation or a 4-nation event. So we're looking out for the teams to come and play. So irrespective of who the coach is, we've gone ahead with our planning to at least get these difficult, to get teams, And September window is also there. So hopefully we'll utilize all the 3 windows. And then next March will be a big event. So yeah, we're working towards that. And the youth camps also now already, Goa is going on. Kashmir is also on. So the youth under 20, we've got 2 important events. We've got SAF, after that we've got the AFC also. So that's going on. The women's team is right now training in Calcutta. They got about 45, 50 people to AFF house. And after that, they selected 6 super scouts. Raksha Panwar is the head scout. So these 6 people are now putting in place in all the states, scouts. Because that is something which earlier we were not doing it. And, we just used to rely on maybe Santosh Trophy and the national championships. But now these scouts will start going to all these state events, also the AFF junior leagues. So that's we're really relying on that so that the net is cast wide and we get some of the best people. Like even within Karnataka, if you have to go to Bijapur and all that, it's a long distance. But if you can have some scouts in each of these places, at least they'll identify good players. Then finally whether they get selected or not, that's a different thing. But at least we'll have a lot of people who are our eyes and ears all over the country. So yeah, the scouting thing is another good addition which we've had this year. So that's something we'd like to build on. Then, like I told you, there's lots of states which have now begun to organize, and they always have been organizing, but now to do it in a more organized way, putting it on CRS and CMS. Even all our Kalo India, 87 leagues were on the CMS. And not only that, they also learned how to send images of those events, the results, etc. So it's good, and Sai is very happy with that progress. So hopefully, that has come as a huge help to us. We just had this strategy for a day. We invited all the stakeholders, the women's committee members, and all the states which organized women's football. They were represented, and it went quite well. So maybe in the next 2-3 weeks, the strategy will be out on what our goals are going to be. So yes, that's a little bit as well. And then of course the football house, they've all been working well, Sandeep and me. And every other day I see, some comments saying there is corruption. There is no room for corruption because we've got a very, very tight budget, and everything we do it on tenders, etc. And I can vouch for it because I'm here in the last 10-11 months. There is no money for corruption, first of all. For example, I'll just give you, 2 small examples. It was huge in the media that we are spending 8.5 lakhs for newspapers, and that was totally wrong, because what exactly we are spending was 15,000 rupees per year. And out of that 15,000, 10,000 we used to get back by selling the old paper. So it was actually 5,000 or 6,000. Only thing is in that, in that annual financial report, it said subscriptions, magazines, newspapers. Subscriptions included, all our IT, this thing, our TV, all of that together. But our newspapers were only 15,000. But it was very sad when some of the portals were speaking about, Aiff is spending 2,500 per day on newspapers and stuff like that. That was totally wrong. Then there are also some of the other things, like for example, even when the ex-head coach said that the Afghanistan team reached India before India reached, which was wrong. Actually, India reached much before them. So these sort of things, when it is out, it is not even verified by the people who put it out. And if only they could just make a phone call to one of us, we could at least clarify on this regarding the newspapers, regarding this. Then also regarding the recruitment, our HR person left, and we just put someone on a stopgap. And there was an advertisement out on our website asking for a HR professional and a chief financial officer. Though that was there, people started, saying that we've got someone who's not played football as a HR. I mean, in football house, how the jobs are. There's nothing which anyone comes trained. They come here, they're trained. We just lost Anil Kamath sir, who has set up one of the best competition departments. And I'm sure you know that we used to come from some football which was totally unorganized, even the organized events. So now what happens, with all these match commissioners ensuring the goalposts are to the correct, the ambulances are there on time, the dressing rooms are good. So things are changing. There's a lot of football happening at the ground level. So we are very confident, and Football House is really working hard towards that. We have some extremely, extremely hardworking and very, very capable staff. So yes, that's in a nutshell. We all are working hard, and then maybe the results will come when it comes. And as you know, one of the biggest problems was age fraud. So this year, time we are introducing TW3, we thought we'll start with the sub-juniors section and then move forward. So AFF themselves are going to fund 30-30 in each state to do those tests. So hopefully that will curb it, though, we can do it only up to age 16. As you know, FIFA and AFC have totally done away with such things, because now all their events are under 17. So you can't do any tests for under 17 people. So that's one thing. Yeah.
So from the things that you mentioned, I just wanted to ask a few clarifications. You said states are getting money. Has that started happening already, them getting that 1 lakh plus?
Yes. Yeah, it has already started. We have 22 states who have taken that money and organized. Most of them have done all the 4 events. Some of them have done 3. Some of them have not been able to put it on the CMS, because our yardstick is very simple. We give the money for staff, and they have to transfer it and show us the transfer which is done. So once in 3 months, once we get it, then we send them the next 3 months. So there is some sort of accountability. For the events also, we tell them to put it on the CMS. The CMS is a system where, you can't have leagues only on the paper. It has to be every day. They have to put it up. They're all gearing up to it. Some of them are really doing well. Some of them are catching up fast. They're all learning fast. So they also know that it's almost like a carrot and stick policy. You do work, then you get funds. Right?
Yeah.
And earlier, Sandeep, when during the Supreme Court, people used to say the states are corrupted. So I was in a state before.
Yeah.
So there was no funds going from AFF to the states. It was this body which came in 22 September. Like they're the ones who started this new. We've got the development committee itself. So they made this thing. Of course, initially the rules and regulations were very tough. So that was also relaxed. So I think in another 2 years, maybe all states will start utilizing this fund very, very efficiently and productively.
And the Indian national team, lot more games coming in. I think we are out of not playing the Madreka Cup this time around, right? Any reason for that?
No, there was no any particular reason for that. Last time, Kalyan Chobe sir, insisted and, put our team there. But right now, everyone's doing their own, they're calling teams. The FIFA windows is such that teams would like to play teams where they would either, get some points. And the better teams always want to play against the better teams.
Yeah.
So that's what. So we are actually, we are searching for 2 teams to play us in September. Hopefully that will happen. Then we can either have a tri-nation or a four-nation event. That's why we already confirmed for October because we didn't lose out. Both those opponents are higher ranked than us, which is good for us. There's no point in only playing lower ranked people and getting some wins. So the team is also of that quality. So hopefully, we'll have a good October session. November also will have something. We don't want to lose out on these windows. We need the team.
Are we exploring new venues for the national team to play? Because last year we saw some, when it came to Bangalore after I think 2016 it was huge. Are we looking at other places also like this? Manipur also you went into.
See, that's another thing, the president has traveled to about 22 states, out of which 18 of those were for the first time an AFF president was ever going to. So, we got Surat doing a beach football. Then we had now this time Arunachal doing the Santosh Trophy, and it was really fantastic. Just today I saw the president, the CM of Arunachal has inaugurated a new turf. So, lots of new grounds are coming, also in the Northeast and other places. And then we had now Narayanpur in Chhattisgarh, which is a place which even know about all the Naxal problems they've had. They successfully conducted the under-20 and now they've also step forward to host the junior event. So football is going to other places. For example, Hyderabad, the President Kalyan Chobe had a meeting with the new CM who used to play football. And immediately they've decided that the earmark funds and the construction is going on for that Gachibowli stadium. To if everything goes well and we get the other 2 teams confirmed, it should be held in Hyderabad. So that's another new venue which what Hyderabad was famous for those days for the players. So that's another thing. Kokrajhar is another example. Come up as a very strong venue. Now Durand Cup is going to be there. So yes, and Gujarat, is gearing up towards the Olympics. So I think we'll get a lot of support in terms of football infrastructure there. And so there lots is going on. Lots is not said in the media. I don't know. Somehow we get most of the negative thing gets in fast there. But our only request to this podcast also would be to anyone that if they, they always need to just call us and clarify, before putting up something, so we could put our side to it. That's very important for us also, because going forward, how our budgets are. It's just about we're short in budgets. So for us to go to the marketing, go out marketing to try to get stuff again depends on how the media portrays us. So these things are they're all they go hand in glove. Like.
Do you feel like there is some targeted pre-planned thing in the media also?
I see as an employee of AFF, I wouldn't want to make a statement like that. But perhaps a lot of things which are said, could be attributed to a few, how do I put it? I mean, I can't pinpoint and surely say so, but I'm sure, I mean, people like you are smart enough to sort of read between the lines and know from where these things are coming.
So I just want to touch on the women's football. It is obviously, you said a lot of work is going in that direction. Is there any plans for youth league for women or, at the national level or something coming up?
Yeah. See, now what has happened is SAI has again given us the 90 leagues. So this year we are trying to, change it a little bit. Like, during these leagues, we are trying to spot talent itself. So that's why we've had a meeting with the scouting department. So whichever states are having these under 13 leagues, we're trying to catch them. We're also in talk with one or two corporates to set up, some girls' academies, like how, Tata had it for boys all these years. We're just looking at the girls. Recently, the UNESCO, UN and all that were involved when we did a small program. And they all were part of the strategy meeting. So they got to know what women's football in India is. So hopefully, and everyone is very, very positive that, we could make it into the World Cup much before the men's. And we are about 60 plus. So hopefully, if we can get in a little closer, then maybe that is a fruit which we can easily, get in our hands. So we're all working towards that. Perhaps this year, next year should be a good year to focus on women's football. There are a lot of girls playing. I mean, you see it even in Karnataka. Yeah. From some 4 teams now, there are about 35 teams, 3 leagues. Maharashtra is strong. Punjab was, amazing because they organized 12 Khelo India leagues. So, then, we've also had some good capacity building, for especially those stakeholders in women's football. And our club licensing is also quite strong. Recently we sort of identified all those in the ISL clubs. We've now given a deadline to Hyderabad club up to July 15th to, pay up to all those staff, etc. So even that, we are trying to educate the clubs about these licensing criteria because, it does cost a little bit of money. It costs a little bit of, labor investment, capital investment. But if you need to go forward to play at the highest level, then these are some things which they have to start, adopting at when they're playing in the state leagues itself. So our I-League 3rd division was a good success. So now, there's at least a pathway for them to go up.
Yeah. And now that you mentioned I-League, a lot on the news being said about promotion, relegation, there's also challenges, budgetary and otherwise, and all of those things. How is I-League looking for the next season? What are the challenges or situations there?
As of now, one big decision we've taken regarding the enforcement of the relegation for the I-League, both the teams, though there was, the people involved, the committee, the leagues committee have all unanimously decided that let us go for the relegation. So both the teams are going down. So we are back to that many teams. The second thing is, as of now, we've got we've got a decent budget for the I-League. Hopefully, if we can get a good broadcast partner, then the quality of broadcast will be better. Regarding the issue of the I-League, some of their main issues were with regarding to promotion and relegation. We should be calling a meeting in the next 2 weeks. So we plan to have a Exco meeting and then put this up in the Exco. There are some issues over here. It's not as easy as everyone would like it to be. The case is also in the Supreme Court. FSDL is party to the Supreme Court case, and it's coming up, I think, end of this month. I don't know whether they're going to hear it or what. The second thing is the MRA is up for in the next year. So whatever we decide also cannot be a long-term decision. So keeping all this in mind, we'll have to come up with some decision with regard to the promotion and relegation. But as far as the I-League teams are concerned, yes, the promotion is on, so they've been getting up. And we'll take a call on that, Sandeep, because so now as far as the roadmap concerned, it also says 24-25 promotion relegation. It also says 14 teams. No, it also says 14 teams. Right now, there are only 13 teams there. And we'll also have to see in the next 15 days what happens, with regard to Hyderabad FC. Whether they're going to fulfill all the criteria or, so things are a little delicate on that front. So, including the AFC roadmap, which was either 14 teams and 24-25 relegation. So we'll talk. We'll discuss this in the expo, and then we'll discuss this with the I-League teams and SBA and
No, I was just asking about in terms of broadcast for I-League, because we are hearing Kerala Super League is getting star and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we are also, some of the I-League clubs and us, we are in talks with one of the broadcasters. So let's see. But before that, we'll let this meeting finish, and then we can go ahead with that. Last year also we had a decent broadcast, but yeah, maybe let us see. That's it's something which the two sets of teams should agree. And FF has very clearly said, they have not come out with anything on the roadmap. We wrote to them, but in their reply they said, okay, you can take a call. So they're not coming to anything, So if that would have been easier for us to implement if that said something. So now it's, we'll call for an expo and then we'll decide. We've heard what the I-League clubs have said. So we'll take a decision on that.
On to slightly more difficult topic, just one thing I wanted to touch on is the ongoing issue between Shaji Prabhakar and former GS and AIF with regards to the contracts, and a lot of things have come up in the newspapers now. How is AIF dealing with this? Any disciplinary action? Anything that you can let us know?
That's what. So that petition, there's a hearing which should come up. So that we'll see. As far as the contracts, what Igor has said, that, so that is something which I can't comment on. The documents are there with the legal department. But as of now, we'll have to see how it goes, how we go ahead with this settlement with Igor. Sure. We just hope it ends the way we would want it to.
You mentioned a lot about the plans of AIF, short term, long term. Is there something more, in the larger picture of things? A lot of small things you mentioned, right? Everything is yearly that you're doing. Grand scheme?
No, please. The larger things is, what do you want to hear from me? I do not know. But
I'm just generally curious as well.
No, I'm personally very, it's something which I would want to do, and we're just waiting for things to settle down. Is something to look at developing. In addition to this, the president is also keen to have at least another 3-4 academies like the one in Bhubaneswar, because so we're in talks with FIFA. We're trying to get them to support us on that. So when the FIFA team comes now, maybe by around 20th for the inaugural of the AFF FIFA Academy. So let us see, there will be further talks on this. The president has been pitching for this. We feel we need at least 3-4 such academies, size of the country, if you look at it. So that will be good, because now this academy is just going to focus on 28 to 30 kids, which is good because we saw the result of what happened in the 2017 World Cup. The boys who we prepared over a long period, they went on now, and they're playing at some of the top places. So that is something. So we, instead of just 30, if you can have another 3 centers, then we have at least over 100 boys coming out every year, and from there to get about 25-30 to play for the country, I think is a good pool for us to have. So that's the only way forward. The second thing is, of course, the women's to really focus and put a program in place. We are seeing if we can get a good women's coach also who can take care of the women's senior team, under 20 and the under 17. So that's going forward. Those are the plans.
Any location you found for the academies?
Pardon?
Any locations that you identified for these academies, the 3-4 ones you're starting?
We are also in talks with SAI, and we are also looking at our own NC in Calcutta. So we've got about little funds to do the building renovation. But the president and vice president the other day had a meeting, and we said instead of putting in money on the administrative block, let's see if we can put up a building at NC itself. So if it can house about 40 beds, then we can have longer camps for the 16 and under 20, because I know we have to use some hotels and all that. So that is something, if it goes maybe before September, we can't do anything in Calcutta because of the climate. But hopefully if that happens, then, we'll have a nice center over there. The president, vice president, go ahead for this. We'll again get this. It's already sort of approved. The approval we had got is for the building renovation, but now for the change, I'm sure the expo members will give that approval for that. So that will be something good, So we have our own facility there. We can have any number of camps throughout the year. So that is something which we are also working on. And you were asking of venues the other day when we had the strategy meeting. The SAI Deputy Director, Mr. Shiv Sharma, was there. So I also had a talk with him, and we are asking them to try and provide to us some SAI where we can have these, the camps which are talking 10 to 13 years. So yeah, there are some plans going front. So despite all the noise around us, there is some sincere hard work which the football house is being at. Sandeep, the Indigo deal is actually a very simple one. What actually complicated is I'm not aware, because initially, their first draft which came from them said that a minimum guarantee we should meet. If we don't meet that, then we have to pay the balance of that. But after further negotiations, that has been removed. So now we've got a deal where we get 10%, okay, not in cash, in further tickets. So that's a good thing. With it comes a few other benefits which come along with this sort of corporate booking. And in return, what we got is, I think the players have already had the first taste of it when they went from Bhubaneswar to Calcutta. They had a separate bus taking them. They had a very good welcome inside the flight. There's some cake cutting, constant announcements. A lot of videos have been shot, and they've got some more plans. So Indigo, for us, they've got about 65% of the market share. Number one. Number two, it was not that we've got 10 airlines lined up to partner with us. They're the only one, and it is good for us. It's good for our players. So in their magazines, I'm sure there's going to be images of our players, advertisements. Then every time they do a shoot, it's quite expensive, Sandeep. So if someone is going to shoot our players, and that's going to be out somewhere, they're going to put it up. So that much of more exposure for Indian football,
Yeah.
And all that comes as a cost. So I think for us, it's great that Indigo has tied up, because after Indigo tied up with them, they've been getting inquiries from a national team like Argentina to be their airline partner. So they're also suddenly realized, and it's their first ever this thing with the sports partnership. This thing also came up because Kalyan was in talks with Indigo when he was during the Olympics. They wanted a special flight painted with in colors, but they didn't have landing rights in China. So then the CEO is a Dutch gentleman who is obviously a football lover. So then he said, okay, why don't you look at football? And that's how the whole deal came in. And it's good. The players have had a very good time, in that. There's no cost to AF fans as our partners, which is a feel-good factor, definitely.
Yeah. Just a couple more things, Satya, here. You had signed a lot of, not few MOUs with Saudi and Kafa. Any updates on those? Any tournaments playing? Any?
Right now, even with Saudi and Qatar, even for us to utilize it, we have to do it during the FIFA windows. In the last FIFA window, we've been busy because of our commitments. So now we go forward. In fact, even now, when I met the Kuwait ambassador, he's also said that he would like us to get involved with their women's Kuwait team. So will I let the new coach come in? Then we can sit, we can talk, see which age groups or how we can go about it. So but also see in under 20 now. Right now we just announced a team. A lot of clubs are reluctant to release the players because they are now playing for them in the Durand Cup, and they are saying that they're in line for their I-League, ISL teams. We'll have to also talk to them. It's just ongoing, nothing controversial about it. But so all these things, it's for us to execute some of the MOUs, we need to sit with the coaches whom we appoint and then plan something.
The new rule that AFF recently said about unregistered tournaments, bringing them in, as somebody who watched a lot of black tournaments or sevens tournaments in Bastis and all of those, what is the idea behind doing this?
So actually, even in Bangalore, the boys who are in the state camp go and play in barefoot tournaments. So that's one part of it. But the trigger for this was what happened in Kerala, where an African player was being chased by about almost 100 people. And that became, that was raised by the foreign ministry because that particular country's diplomats raised it. So then, then when we spoke with Kerala, with Mr. Anil, he was telling there are almost about 40, 50 foreigners who are there on various visas, not exactly player permits, who come on some other visa, and they're all playing their trade, playing in these unregistered tournaments. So that's always, a security risk, and, that's one part of it. Second part is clubs sign up players to play for them, and give them a lot of facilities, etc. And these players going and playing in unregistered tournaments, getting injured, then it's a loss for the club. The third thing is, what we have said there is, we've asked our registered players not to play in unregistered tournaments. So it is, because there has been some, some reaction saying that it is because of money. There's no money involved at all. What we have said is, like, for example, you can understand better in Bangalore. Say, suppose East Independence Day football tournament is going on. So they can write to maybe the BDF or KSFA, take permission. And at that time, the only condition which they will put is registered teams can play there. So those teams can go and participate as a Kickstart, as a FCBU, etc. So two things happen over there, because the registered players playing in a tournament which is approved by the local authorities. The referees will go over there. And more important is, it gives them game time, because the average of 40 games, 45 games which any good player needs to get. We are not able to provide that as of now. I mean, the states, the districts don't. So if all these tournaments, become sort of approved, all they need to do is do it in a little organized way and provide some security, because half the time, there are lots of antisocial elements also running these clubs in some. But in some districts where there's no football, it is only this football which keeps football alive. That also we are aware of. So that's why we are not saying that ban them totally. We are telling registered players don't play. So if you are registered in a district, obviously you are with some team. So then you wants to organize, can just take the same registered clubs and play the event. So this will encourage more of the players to get registered with clubs. And once you're on the CRS and CMS, you're eligible to attend the state trials, get selected, and then doors open for you. Yeah. Unregistered tournaments, maybe you just win a little bit, and then you just stay there. So it's more with that this has been started.
Did you not try to do something similar in BDFA? Long time ago, you were trying to tell them to organize better these smaller tournaments. When you were in BDFA, you did something similar?
Yes, we did something similar. We just told them, because their thing is, there's lots of, fights which end up, because of disputes, side and all that, So, and players get hit, and sometimes players are threatened to go and play there, A particular big shot in that area tells you have to come and play. And then they're scared. I remember at one time, Santosh Trophy team, the squad, I fined some of them 10,000 because as the camp was going on, they went and played in an unregistered barefoot tournament. So the problem at that time was they're already registered 30 players. So if they get injured, we can't even replace them, So, but that is not the reason. The reason is after this Kerala incident, Calcutta also, we got complaints. So we're just trying to sort of getting them into the organization. That's more the idea. It's not about giving them permission by taking money. Nowhere have we spoken about money in this particular. Yes, in some states where football is not done that much, we need these events, but slowly they can also become part of those districts, those taluks, those states.
Yeah. Satya, now something that is a little close to your heart and my bread and butter for so many years, Karnataka football. How do you see where it's now and where it is headed? Because until you guys came up, it was sort of dying down a little bit. I have to say this. And now, we have multiple divisions in the women's league, 10, 20 teams in the super division, sponsorships, telecast, all that kind of stuff has also come in between and all that. So how do you see the development here in Karnataka?
I think Karnataka is one of the better stories in recent years as far as Indian football is concerned. It's good from 4 clubs now. There are about almost 40 women's clubs. The biggest strength of Karnataka right now is the youth league. I don't think so. There are many leagues in other states which are as as wide and as deep-rooted as the leagues. They start with under 7, and now they're doing the under 21 also, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 18, 21. So which is good because recently they finished runners-up in the under 20. So that basically is a product of all the football they've played in the youth level. You know. The one thing which you see in Karnataka is lots of the kids who are playing come from very affluent families, and they've been playing right from 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. So and all the number of coaching courses which was done, all those coaches have got jobs. We have almost about 40 academies over there, and this is the case in some of the other states also. So, and then of course the biggest this thing was the Santosh Trophy prime. The year I just left. And then organizing the SAF was big. And Stafford Cup was revived after 30 years. This year, I think they couldn't do it because of the election. So that is something also big. So, I mean, they're good. And I think they will get more results because all those children who are playing are now getting into super division clubs. Like, for example, Roots is an example where the under 17 boys play in the super division. They have shoulders with some of the. And the success of Sporting Club Bangalore now qualified for I-League is a big story, Yeah. We also got FCBU and Kickstart Banking knocking on the doors. So it's in a good place, and hopefully it will continue. It will build on, where it is. Lots of districts have started playing football. Women, girls, they won the Tier 2 girls event, which was after a long time. Normally they used to get beaten 5-0, 8-0. Last year in Belgium as champion, now they've gone to Tier 1. So that's good. A lot of women coaches. Recently, a few of them have got the B licenses. So it's in a good space. I think if more states could follow the Karnataka model of having more youth leagues, I think it will be good.
Yes, absolutely. I just have to say.
Because Mr. Harris.
Sorry? You were saying?
No, Mr. Harris is still as the president. What we started when I was the secretary, that is continuing there. So that's good, and he's also the vice president of AFF. So, that's.
Well, I have to say, I mean, I've done 10 years, over 10 years here, covering football, and the last 5-6 years has definitely been really good. We have had tournaments back, multiple I-League qualifiers and all happened here. We have now Karnataka has I-League team and ISL team, and one in the I-League 2 also. Women's team in the IWL, Santosh Trophy champions with largely Karnataka players, which is something that often was criticized before. We're having players from different states, etc. So altogether, it's done well. I wish you all the best in your endeavors in AFF as well, and let's hope that the development happens everywhere as well.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you, and all the best in whatever your new endeavors. I think you closed a few of your. So all the best, and thanks for supporting.